Welcome to the Point. In this session, let's discuss about Sino-India relationship, and here we'll be discussing about India and Belt Road Initiative Summit and what is the India stand in it, and also the information and communication technologies ecosystem in this Belt and Road Initiative. So the Belt and Road Initiative Summit. So this summit, it was held in May 2017 in China, which was attended by 120 countries and which includes 29 at the top leadership level. The Belt and Road Initiative is revised name for the flagship of One Belt, One Road project, which is a pet project of Chinese President Xi Jinping. So this project, it entirely aims to connect the Eurasian landmass and the Indo-Pacific maritime routes. So this was a great power. This was a great power moment for China as friends, allies, and even adversaries like United States, Japan, South Korea, and Vietnam that is sent senior representatives to Beijing. So on the surface, the Belt and Road Initiative, it floated by President Xi Jinping in the year 2013, September and October in Kazakhstan and Indonesia. It is based on three principles that is broadly explained as Gongshang, Gongxian, and Gongxiang. So I have explained about this in the last session also. You can go through it for more details to know about what is the exact meaning of Gongshang, Gongxiang, and Gongshang. So, and it also has about 5 connectivities in the form of political connectivity, infrastructure connectivity, capital, trade, and people-to-people exchange connectivities. So what is India's stand in this Belt and Road Initiative? So India, it boycotted the forum to protest China's routing of China-Pakistan economic corridor without adequate consultation with India through Gilgit-Baltistan, which India claims, but it is occupied by Pakistan. So India's participation, it would weaken its own case on sovereignty on Gilgit and Baltistan and also Pakistan occupied Kashmir, because it would be tantamount to accepting the Chinese and Pakistani position of Pakistan occupied Kashmir or Gilgit-Baltistan region, which is being northern Pakistan. And more importantly, it would fly in the face of India's sustained protest against China-Pakistan collaboration on POK from 1963. And this is the fact that Chinese, they had begun to deploy about 30,000 security personnel to protect the projects along the China-Pakistan economic corridor route, and it makes it an active player in the politics of Indian subcontinent. And it has been made emphatic in conveying that India's One China policy must be congruent to China's One India policy, and that means that the Chinese must be sensitive to India's claims in Pakistan occupied Kashmir. So this boycotting of this Belt and Road Summit in Beijing was New Delhi's political signal to Asian countries that is willing to challenge China's economic influence in this region. So One Belt, One Road in its current form, it encompasses all of the South Asia sands, India and Bhutan, and it enhances China's strategic heft in the same country, where India also has huge stakes, including connectivity, initiatives, and infrastructure projects that is launched during the past years. And Beijing, it did not take Delhi into confidence when it unilaterally decided to introduce and implement this project in many of the South Asian countries. And such projects in their current form, they not only have the potential to push the countries into financial crisis, but they have the direct bearing on India but also they have the strategic implications for Delhi during times of the conflict. And India, now it firmly believes that the connectivity initiatives must be based on universally recognized international norms, good governance, rule of law, openness, transparency, and equality. So in India's view, connectivity initiatives must follow principles of financial responsibility to avoid projects that would create unsustainable debt burden for communities, that is balanced ecological and environment protection and preservation standards. So China has been lobbying to address Indian concerns, pointing precisely to the existence of Karakoram Highway as a proof that it won't affect Kashmir's territorial status. But however, there is a competing viewpoint that India's suspicion of the initiative is not shared globally, and that China is not spending all this money for projects to fail purely with the intention of reining India in. And for this, the International Monetary Fund and the credit ratings of Moody have recognized that China-Pakistan economic corridor's potential to drive growth in the region. And several UN fora, they have also been endorsed to the RBI, arguing that connectivity between so many smaller economies is in the larger global interest. But the counter viewpoint, it questions that China's claim that maritime Silk Road is purely infrastructural push to boost the maritime trade with its partner countries. And the problem has been that there is a huge gap between China's rhetoric and the reality on the ground. So the developments in South China Sea, it offers a sufficient proof for this. So China, it has set up intelligence and listening posts on the islands in the South China Sea, and in addition to it, it militarizes the islands despite its rhetoric of peaceful development. So India has asked China for a meaningful dialogue over the Belt and Road Initiative. So when we see this Belt and Road Initiative project in the angle of information and communication technology, the creation of ICT ecosystem, that is the information communication technology ecosystem, it is the most important element of Belt and Road Initiative. So in no other area is Beijing influence on Belt and Road Initiative member states to be more pronounced than in cyberspace, because China can supply a digital goods at extremely competitive prices. So all roads from China's digital economy, it leads to India. So it says that Beijing pervasive reach over India's IT ecosystem and BRI policies will profoundly affect New Delhi. So the Indian response to China's domination of its digital economy should not be to ban Chinese products and services. So that would not only halt the surge in internet penetration in India, it can go against the grain of this government's Digital India and Make in India initiatives. So if to say more about this topic, China's technology, that is which is very giant, and it must be invited to build the capacity in India, whether in the high-end manufacturing sector or in the form of data analytics abilities or through financing research and development in Indian universities. So but however, they should be encouraged and they should be honest, interlocust, and they should refrain from exploitative trade activities. So weaving this perspective in a strategic way, it must be ensured that this China's creeping influence over cyberspace rules, it does not pose any challenge for India. And Indian players also, they should not end themselves shut out by this Chinese competition from regions, digital economies, or at the very least from their own. So this type of resistance, it cannot be premised on providing loans, products or services for the digital economy at par with China. So not when India's own market relies heavily on Chinese players. So it should instead be driven by a multilateral effort which is led by India and other major economies like Japan, Singapore and South Korea. So this is to set the norms of governance for cyberspace in Asia. So Japan, Singapore and South Korea, it will set the norms for governance for cyberspace in Asia. And such an effort, it can be made to involve both at high level understanding on the strategic and military uses of cyberspace and dialogue between major industrial players on the technical standards and protocols that is to be adopted by them. So this is about Belt and Road Initiative. See you all in the next session with the topic of Sino India water sharing issues. Thank you.